How's it going? We're going to kind of expand on the last tutorial I just posted because I think it's kind of tutorial 4, tutorial 3, kind of one and the same, just ones I think a little bit quicker to the draw. So what we're going to do in this one, we're going to pull a topographical map down from Google, and then we're going to go ahead and lay out some lines on there on the actual map itself, and then we're going to utilize that information to paint somewhat realistic real-world terrains um, in Photoshop to import to the terrain editor without having to use a make map, which is a phenomenal program, by the way, but without having to use that or getting having to deal with geography, real world geography, in the sense that it's hard to manipulate to a three-sided war. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so I've already got this El Dorado National Forest topographical map uh, downloaded and brought into Photoshop. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to create a new layer, and these are going to be my ridge lines. Okay, I'm going to use the highest point I want. I guess it don't really matter at this point, so we'll just leave it at 0. We'll get into the elevation stuff a little bit later. So I'm going to zoom in on the map, kind of look around, kind of some areas that I think would be kind of neat to fight over in like a central area. And it looks like probably from here down. So this area right here can be duplicated backwards and forwards, or stacked on top of each other and side to side if need be. So we're going to go ahead and grab the pencil tool, and we're going to leave that on 8. Okay, see, it's a fairly thick line. So we're just going to kind of look and kind of follow some ridge lines here. So I got a ridge there, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Oops. Right about there. Just kind of follow these things down and understand that there's some elevation differences in the lines that I'm drawing anyways, because there's never any one consistent elevation on a ridge, right? They're pretty squirrely. But this will give me a good idea of what I'm dealing with. Okay, so we know that one comes down there. This one comes down here. And we'll go ahead and deal with the valleys like that you have right here, and then this area in the bowl sitting here and here. We'll deal with those once we get back over into Photoshop, or not Photoshop, excuse me, the other working document, this one. Now I'm kind of doing just kind of creating a web of stuff. I can assume that that's going to come down into there, come back up to there. It's going to come down into here. And then you have this little guy right here. It's going to sprout off by itself. What else we got? This comes up into here. And then you have this. Okay, so these areas right here are going to be my high ridge lines. So let me change that to high ridge lines. Then we're going to create a new layer, and we're going to call those medium ridge lines. And I'm going to go ahead and create it now for low. So I'm going to go to the medium ridge lines, and I'm going to go ahead and leave them the same color. You'll see what I'm going to do with these in a minute. It's kind of going to be like overlapping when I bring it in, stacking photos on top. See here, let this come down into here, right there, then come through here. Okay, that was actually a valley, but that's fine. That'll come through there, through there. See what else I got up top here. Then you have this one, which comes into this one. And down through here, these would be the lower ridge lines. So we go right here, kind of bring those up into there. Assume those will come here. And since I don't have the full topographical map of this national forest, we're just going to have to deal with what we have. Okay, so there's a medium ridge line that comes down there, and same with right there, comes up here. This one comes down. This one comes down. Now, the methods that we're going to, there's one, sorry, right there, and right up, and right up. Okay, now we're going to go to the lower ones. The lower ones are kind of like these guys right here, right? And they come down. You can go all day long doing this. It's the level of detail is really up to you. I find that there's a little more control when dealing with this stuff. Bring those two together, run one from there, and one there, one there. And those two are going to bleed. We'll have to edit those. And now I want a ridge line there, and right there. It's like I'm painting happy little trees. Okay, so that right there is going to be the start of our mountain presence over on this side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and Control A, and I'm going to drag that over. Create a new layer. It's going to be called High Ridge. Okay. Next one's going to be Medium Ridge. And then the one on top of that's obviously going to be Small Ridge. Now I'll probably bleed these down, or not bleed them down, excuse me, change the order of them once I get everything brought over from the other image. Okay, well, that was dumb. Why didn't it do? Oh yeah, that's why. There you go. And it's like I said, it's gonna have to be adjusted a little bit to get that feel right there. And then my low ridges. Okay, so let's work with placement on this upper ridge. Why the hell is that just going to a selection tool? I may have to look that up. It's been doing that to me a lot lately. There we go. Okay, so how did that one go? Let's look over here for reference. So that one butts right up to that. Whatever it wants to do, I suppose. Probably turn snapping off. Fairly close to the original. Okay, that'll work. There's the bounding box that we're playing with. Now, I'm going to obviously drag these down and kind of swap these around. Okay, now we need to set the land. Okay, this is going to be low value. Land. Come on, Chewy. There you go. RGB. We'll just hit this one at 0. Okay, go back over here, go 0. And now we're going to go ahead and paint the areas that we want. So, and I can always adjust these to kind of fit inside whatever land I draw. So 32. That's going to take freaking forever. Do something bigger than that. Let's do 180. It's 10 miles to 160. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the high ridge. Well, first I'm changing the opacity on this one to down to like 75. Okay, we will bring that back up, but just have it the opacity turned down so we can move this around. Okay, and now we're going to scale this for transform. We want uniform, right? Because we don't want to, so bring down uniform. See how that fits first before we do anything else. Okay, that looks fine. Now let's bring the opacity of this one back up to 100. And we're going to paint some more because I want a little more land out here. Okay, so we're going to get a dithering effect up in here on the edge, well, not up in here, on the edges when we go ahead and save it. I talked about that a little bit in the last video I did. Excuse me. But so always remember to outline it or select all from the outside and then collapse it 2 to 4 pixels and it'll remove the program's wanting or its need to blend every pixel from whatever the darkest color you have to the lightest color. Okay, so now that we have that, we want to change this right here. We want to change the color in that. So we're just going to go to the wand tool and select all. We're going to select inverse. If I hit delete, it deletes. Now we're going to go ahead and set this to I don't know. Let's get my old trusty calculator out. I want 9,500 foot divided by 256. And that gives us 37. So our RGB value is 37. So 37 by 37 by 37. We're going to get the paint bucket and we're going to lace it. Okay. So there's that. Now if I bring this one all the way back up to full color, there you can see that's going to be the peak, the top of our mountains. Now there's something that we have to do before we get too deep into it, is we have to let's see if it did it. Okay, cool, it's not dithering it. Okay, so now we're going to have to turn the mountain back on. Let's get the and go over here and add a layer style to it. So we're going to do a stroke like I talked about in the previous video, previous 2 videos. We're going to do a shape burst, and now we're going to cancel this actually because I need to reset that. It's 37. Okay, and this one needs to be set back to 0. Now you can do this through the layer style, and I'll show you how to do that. I touched on it a little bit in the last video. So, second, let me zoom in so you can see this working. Okay, there we go. Stroke. And you see the size. Okay, so you see it's adding that gradient down to 0. So if I clicked OK, I cut that off. It's, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's there's our 37, and it blends it all the way to 0. Okay, now you probably wouldn't want to go all the way down to 0, so we'll go down to, like, say 1. Right, this has something to do with a rule that high tech imposed about, unless it's blending in the water, don't put your train any lower than 20 feet. Okay, so this will put our train actually at 256 feet. Okay, and see how it kind of flipped it there on us, so we just hit reverse and it puts it back to where it needs to be. And for the size of it, we can put that size like right there. Try 65. Okay, and we're just going to hit OK. So now what we're going to do is we're going to right click the layer and we're going to rasterize it. Now let's bring in the other ones. I don't know that we're going to need to, but we can bring them in anyways. Let's see here. And these ones at the medium altitude range, we're going to want them at, like, say, 95, so probably 4,000, 5,000. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now we're going to, oops, get this in there. We're going to put 75, oops, I need that at 100. There it is, high ridge, I need that at 50. Okay, and then the medium is going to be at 100, and we're going to select everything, inverse selection, delete it, and now we need our calculator again. I should never have closed this thing down. Okay, so I want it at 4,500 feet divided by 256, and it gives me 17, roughly 17. Okay, now there's a couple ways I could do this. All right, so I want to blend these into the tops, right? So I've got these coming down to like 256. So I know that the bottom on these is going to be, or yeah, 256 feet. So the bottom on these ones are going to be 256 feet. Now we'll give it a try and see what happens. I don't know that it's going to help any, but we'll see. Okay, and I may not need this many, so we'll see. Okay, so let's place that where it is. We'll pull out the old eraser. And we'll get rid of the ones that we don't want. So those are gone. This one's completely gone. There's gone. Get rid of that one together. Get rid of that one. And probably these two. Try to get rid of everything that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get rid of everything that's not necessarily, get rid of everything that's running into this other. Okay, well, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a blank. So I'll go to the pen tool, and I don't want that. Give me try 4. half mile. Let's do a mile. Okay. And one cool thing you can do is you can paint in the stroke with the gradient overlay, the shape bursts and stuff like that. You just have to go in and set your altitude. So what's this one? This one should be 17. Oh, no, 37. So 17. This one should be, nope, let's go 1. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, now when I paint, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. That's for damn sure. Or did it? It did. Okay, so I need to go back in here and adjust the size. Let me zoom in. Okay, zoom back out. Turn this back up to 100. Turn the high ridge back up to 100. Now some of this I'm learning right along with you guys, so you have to forgive me. All right, so if you see here, there's a little break right there where it gets right here. Okay, that can be fixed. All right, because remember I'm painting underneath that layer, so I should, in theory, be able to kind of blend that in all nice and neat. Okay, right here. Come on out. Actually, I don't like that. Let's see here. Try 16. Irritating is what this is. And very rarely in nature is anything going to be as straight as an arrow like that. So just get rid of that one. Paint some more onto it. Just a matter of coming back through and taking a swipe at things. And as I realize, there's probably better ways to shape things out, but this is just a tutorial, so it's no harm, no foul. All right, so there's that. We're not even going to worry about the lowlands. Nah, no, we'll worry about them. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to rasterize this one. And now we're going to go this one. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the lines that I had drawn. I'm going to go ahead and set up my overlays right now. So this one's at 4,500 feet. I want the other one to be at about 1,500 feet. All right, so it's roughly going to be 5. Okay, so I'm going to set up a stroke. I'm going to have a stroke. Let's see here. The high, I'll put it at 6. Okay, and the low, let's find where it is. I'm going to hit OK. Now this one, we can go a little bit bigger. We can go 32, right? Because these are gonna be more of in between guys right here. What the hell was that? Oh shit, didn't like that. Some cliffs right there. Oops. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that one. Now what's going to end up happening here is when I go to import this into the terrain editor, it's going to give me all sorts of problems, right? So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to close that down, and there are the mountains, and I'm going to have to rasterize all the layers, make sure they're all rasterized, turn off the bounds, and I'll start with the small. Okay, so you see the dithering going on right here where it's trying to blend them, it's trying to make use of all of the pixel space, I suppose. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to go ahead and expand. I think it's expand on this one. And I'm going to expand 3. Oh shit, 3. And I'm just hit delete. Okay, and close that one out, go to the next one. Same thing. Select expand by 3. Okay, do it to the next one, right? Oops, nope, Chewy, come on now. There we go, much better. Select expand by 3 and hit OK. Now what I need to do is I need to do that to our land, because if not, we're going to get some wacky results. Okay, so filter, oops, excuse me, select, modify, expand by 3. Delete it. Now that should have taken care of all the dithering. So we'll bring these all together to include our C. We'll just try from here. Okay, so just a second, I'm checking to make sure it did what it was supposed to do. Okay, it did. Okay, so looking, that's our MA, right? So now I'm just going to export this, but first I need to create a new folder within the my ACES high directory. Where you at, sucker? There's MagMap, such a cool program. Okay, tutorial 6. Damn it, 6. 6. This thing wants to fight me. All right. File new. What I'm going to do, let's see here, 2.5, 2.6. We're going to do 64 miles. All right. Save it. That'll create the, was it OBA file or something like that. And then we're going to leave it open. We're going to file. We're going to save this as, oh shit, no, I got to do something else. Image mode, grayscale, don't merge, flatten, discard, don't flatten, discard everything. Change it to 16-bit. Okay, now file save as. That's my channel art. No, don't need that. Where you at? There you are. We're going to go to a raw, called TUT6. And like in the last video, I had problems with the Macintosh one, which is weird because I didn't used to have a problem with it. Just something that started happening over the last couple tutorials. But anyways, I'm gonna hit OK, and there it is. So now we have the terrain editor open. And, oh man, how long has this damn video been going? Probably too damn long, huh? Oh, whatever. Okay, so we're gonna import a signed height map, and we're going to tutorial 6. Now let's see what happens here. Now, if everything worked out right, we should have a pretty sweet looking setup here. Okay, all right, so you'll notice that there's a lot of micro features in here that are byproducts of the export and also the way that things are painted. Okay, so you're going to put hands on every last bit of this terrain. So that's not really that big an issue. You can go through and you're going to smooth. Like right now, I want to paint some stuff on here, right? So let's zoom in. We're going to paint. Paint, 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 paint. Right? Hey, look at you, little friend. Go away. There you go. In this area. Okay. So now I'm going to try to do some sculpting. Okay. So I'm going to elevations. I don't want to smooth anything out yet. I just want to do raise and lower hill right now. And I'm going to want to bring it up like maybe 20 feet. Or hell, we can probably go 10 feet. Okay. Click out. Click back in. And okay, see what we're working with here. And I don't know why it does this when you import a terrain. It's got like nothing's working right with the lights and the shadows and stuff like that until you um, hit it with some sort of terrain brush. Now, there's probably something to do over here, like, I don't know, level terrain on square objects, or maybe set tiles terrain height. Yes, that's fine, I don't give a shit. No. So, um, anyway, so paint out, paint out. And so what you end up with, a pretty nice little terrain where you're really going in and turn off this, oh, trees. Hello, trees. Um, you got a decent start for a terrain, but you're not, uh, having to start from the ground up. You're just doing like hopefully minor adjustments and actually sculpting the look of the terrain and not the actual formation of all the geo features. Um, and if you look, some of them up there, like this one's up here, so 38. Right up here, that's 36. So I mean, it's a real good start for the terrain, and it didn't take me all that long to do. And of course, if you want to smooth it and stuff like that, you can. Oops, wrong one. Just do smooth bilinear. And you can even start that, do that even towards like 2. And, you know what I mean? And you can get larger areas smoothed out. Oops, hello friend. You end up with a pretty nice looking terrain. Right, pretty much from Jump Street, with just minor things. And if you go down here, you notice, down here on the, oops, dang it, on the terrain level, you have some really cool micro features and stuff like that already laid out. You know what I mean? So, what are you doing way over there, little friend? There you go. So, anyways, that's this tutorial. I know it's a little long-winded and there was some stumbling because I've kind of mastered this, not really mastered it, but got comfortable with it during this tutorial because it's one of those things where it's easy to forget the settings that you used on your brushes and um, kind of the order of operations and stuff like that. So it's very easy to forget this stuff, and if you don't use it a lot, well, you don't use it, you lose it. It's just like programming. If you don't use it, you lose it. So, anyways, I hope you found this tutorial somewhat helpful. This is kind of a little more of an advanced tutorial. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop me a line, either on the forums. My username on the forums is Cyphus, and or you can drop me a line here on YouTube, um, uh, which is the Drunken Monk, and Twitch if you want to. It's Stomp Lab and Twitch, and if you need to in game, I'm also Stomp Lab in the skies of Aces High. So thanks for watching, and hope you got something out of this.